Assalamu alaikum. This is Ahmed Jamali. We are at the inauguration ceremony of the Islamic Fiqh Assembly of the World Muslim League here in Mecca al-Mukarramah. Let's check it out.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والذين هاجروا في الله من بعد ما ظلموا لنبوئنهم في الدنيا حسنة ولأجر الآخرة أكبر لو كانوا يعلمون. الذين صبروا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. وما أرسلنا من قبلك إلا رجالا نوحي إليهم فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون. بالبينات والزبر وأنزلنا إليك الذكر لتبين للناس ما نزل إليهم ولعلهم يتفكرون. صدق الله العظيم.
The governor of Mecca, Khalid al-Faisal, talked about the importance of knowing that this ummah is facing an important issue: ignorance and following the desire. This is the worst that this ummah has faced, and that is led to many wrong opinions and following wrong beliefs and understandings, which led also to lots of misdemeanors and misactions and misunderstanding of the concepts of Islam and the holistic of Islam. And also, it's important now that we stand up together for a collective stand to start to set some basis and rules and grant rules for the jurisdiction and how can we lead ourselves in the jurisdictions of Islam. And he added his thanks to the Muslim World League for taking the initiative of holding this conference and reinforcing the attendees that the government of Saudi Arabia is standing very firm behind them in whatever they take.
والمنابر الواسعة الانتشار التي تسوق هذه الظاهرة وتفتح الباب على مصراعيه للفتوى بغير ضوابط، مما أتاح لأصحاب الأهواء والجهال والمغالين والمتهاونين الفرصة للخوض في ميادين الفقه والتصدي للإفتاء، فزادوا بذلك الإساءة للإسلام.
Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. We have got Mr. Shabir Ahmed Saluji, the director of Darul Ulum Zakaria, South Africa, Johannesburg. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah, very, very well. MashaAllah.
Sheikh, can you tell us about the outcome of this and the objectives of this conference?
The objective of this conference, basically, we know how important fatwa is in the life of a Muslim. To see to it that fatwa is regulated in the proper way with the conditions that are there, and people are not qualified to give fatwas, do not give fatwas. The conditions, who can give fatwa and what is the meaning of fatwa, whether it is binding, it's not binding, etc., and the conditions of fatwa. But most important is this, that who is qualified to give a fatwa.
What about the fatwas who are given against political or economical pressures?
One has to judge each fatwa according to the conditions, first and foremost, who has given the fatwa and how it was given. As I just mentioned, very, very important is that every person does not have the right to give a fatwa. A person has to be well versed as far as Sharia is concerned. He's got to be well versed as far as what the conditions are concerned, and he is qualified to give a fatwa. Any Tom, Dick and Harry comes in with fatwa and says anything, that will not be binding. In fact, sometimes it brings disgrace to Sharia when you see people who are not qualified to give wrong fatwas and incorrect fatwas.
What is the importance of fatwas on satellite TVs these days?
What do you mean?
The importance and how it affects the people watching, or how it affects the whole Muslim Ummah.
Well, if the proper fatwas are brought onto satellite TV, where the proper information is given, it will be of great benefit for the Ummah, because there are millions of people who are watching satellite TVs, etc. But of course, if you get wrong fatwas coming, we know how important the media is, then in that case, of course, there will harm come to the Ummah. So if correct people utilize the facilities we have, inshallah, it will benefit the Ummah, and many people who do not know, it will be an opportunity for them to learn what they do not know and how to react in conditions that they go through in daily life.
Okay, great. What do you think about the conferences? Such conferences can be held in non-Islamic countries.
Very, very important that conference of this nature should be held in non-Islamic countries too, so that people there can understand what the consequences of fatwa are and who is qualified to give fatwa.
Assalamu alaikum. Dear viewers, we have got Mufti Muhammad Al-Rizwi from Jam'iyyat Al-Ulama, President of Jam'iyyat Al-Ulama. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah, very fine, mashallah.
What do you think about the importance of such conferences and the regulations of fatwa?
Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah, Muhammad ibn Abdullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam ma ba'd. Actually, it's very important in Sharia, the matters of fatwa. Here, the discussion has started today, and more than 40 topics has been given, and various ulama all over the is participating in this seminar and this conference. Alhamdulillah, it's very important for each and every Muslim to follow the ruling of Sharia. The ruling of Sharia is depend on fatwa. Yes. And fatwa is for individual and for the community and for the country. And ruling of Sharia is given in the form of fatwa. Should be followed by Muslims, inshallah. It will be benefit for everyone.
And do you recommend such conferences should be held in non-Islamic countries also?
Yeah, it's very important, especially non-Islamic countries. They should have this kind of discussions, because Muslims are living in such countries. They need more and more information on this regard.
What do you say about the spreaded satellite TVs and the impact of giving fatwa in those TVs? I mean live. Some people give fatwas live. What do you think about it? There should be some regulations on this, right?
Yeah, it's very important that because people are lack of knowledge, ignorance. When they ask questions, the people who are coming, the lecturers or muftis or whoever scholars who come to give on channels, they should be very organized, and they should know their subject. And the channels who are getting the scholars, they must be very careful getting good scholars, not only by name, they should be with knowledge. And regulation is a must on this regard.
So what is the ultimate objective of this conference here?
The ultimate objective of this conference is to give proper guidance, not only for the public, even the scholars and ulamas and mufti and who are in this field, to follow the certain rules and regulations. And it has been guided. The first mufti as Quran is Allah Almighty, and our beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes second. And it is the duty of all scholars to, as Sheikh Mufti of Diyar, Saudi Arabia, in his speech, he said that taqwa is very important. For fatwa, taqwa is very important.
Assalamu alaikum. Dear viewers, we have got Dr. Nabil Al-Hamad with us. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Nabil.
Thank you, Ahmed. MashaAllah, good job you've been doing.
How are you today?
Alhamdulillah.
And how's things going so far?
Alhamdulillah. As we know, this conference is very important. The assembly of the jurisdiction has been discussing lots of issues, and nowadays, specifically in this meeting, this convention, the main subject is almost three issues. Putting certain rules or ground rules for the jurisdictions. Fatwa is being scattered all over. Anybody became mufti now, anybody can talk about fatwa. And they are talking also about the satellite and their bad influence, the problem that we are satellite channel also, maybe among the people to be blamed. The bad influence they talk about of the satellite channels in fatwa. And that people became so courageous, so brave, that any opinion can be given, anybody can make fatwa. That's very important issue to put certain of ground rules and general rules of fatwa. Number two is to talk about the collective ijtihad, that the scholars meet together instead of individual and individualistic opinions versus another individualistic opinions, the collective ijtihad. Also, they are talking about putting certain means and tools of the fatwa, how to spread the fatwa all over to all the people. And specifically, Dr. Abdullah Turki, the General Secretary of the Muslim World League, talked about very specific issues also they'll be discussing also on the ground of this meeting, which is number one, talking about, as we know, the calamities of every year of proving the lunar month by the crescent, which has been a big issue of discussions for years and years till now, how to start the lunar months. Number two, there is a question coming from North Europe. Many of the Muslims of North Europe are suffering, as you know, because of their time zone is very, very, I would say, awkward. In the winter time, the night is very short, and in the summertime, the day is very long, and the winter is very short. In the winter time, the night is very long. So times of salah, time of siyam, need to be discussed among the scholars to come up with ideas to help the brothers over there. As we know that Islam is everlasting. And Alhamdulillah, the talking of Rasulullah, the hadith of Rasulullah covered everything, and we know what's coming up even in the event. But specifically, the scholars need to meet together in order for them to agree. We know that the Muslim minorities in some other countries, they differ. Even in the start of Ramadan, start of Hajj, they differ in the times of Salah. Some, they follow Saudi Arabia, some they follow the Al-Azhar in Egypt, some they follow other jurisdictions, other countries like in Pakistan, other areas. So we need to unify the Muslims in certain fatwa.
So Dr. Nabil, how the viewers watching and getting fatwas from satellite channels, how they can be sure that the source is, this is the right source for the fatwa? What message you want to give them here?
Wallah, it's very difficult. I tell you the truth. I am behind the screen I'm talking about. We are the people, I worked with Iqra channel, I worked with Huda channels, and we know that we need to screen the people before we bring them. Like as an example, in Huda channels we have brothers that we trust their fatwa because they are studying, they're students of knowledge who studied under, again, scholarship of scholars, real scholars, that we trust their aqidah, their iman, their understanding of Quran and Sunnah. We notice that in many channels now, an English teacher can become a mufti. Sometimes they bring them in certain channels, and some so-called scholars, they make a joke or the hilarious show, and that's called fatwa. That's very difficult. And you cannot control, you cannot say the no or wrong or this. But it's important for the person who's seeking knowledge himself, as the scholars all over from the very beginning of history, they said, seek for yourself and seek your heart. No matter what the people tell you, halal, haram, ask your heart, is it really nearer to the Quran or Sunnah or not? These are kind of almost the general rule. But inshallah we'll benefit from these conventions and conferences of what they bring to us, inshallah.
Do you appreciate and promote these conferences shall be also conducted outside the Muslim world and should be conducted in non-Muslim countries here?
I know they do. As you know, the jurisdiction assembly is an institution underneath the Muslim World League, and it did held many workshops for people, even on training imams, as Dr. Marzougi mentioned, Jazakallah khair, that they do lots of training of imams and sheikhs all over the countries, whether Muslim countries and non-Muslim countries.
Can you tell us about fatwas given under some kind of economical or political pressures by some of the people here?
Sometimes it happens. Sometimes, matter of fact, Islamically, a fatwa can be changed if there is a calamity, like the time of Umar ibn Khattab, radiallahu anhu, where he stopped some of the orders because people were in total poverty and total drought, and almost people were hungry. So many things were stopped at that time, and Umar ordered to feed as many as ordered his governors all around the Muslim countries to feed the people as much as possible, to help the needy and the hungry people, instead of making some jurisdictions of sealing on the punishments and things like that.
Finally,
Of course, we need to be talking about some people follow the desire, as Jazakallah khair, Prince Khalid al-Faisal mentioned in his speech. Some follow desire. Desire means either pleasing certain governors or rulers of the world. In order for them to please them, they issue certain fatwas. I don't want to mention examples, it will be very specific, but it's happening. And some fatwas is people who follow the desire of the people. Certain scholar, in order for him to become popular, he makes fatwa, everything is halal in order for him to become popular and loved by the people. On the other side of the issue also, there are certain fanatics and some radical people who took fatwas very harsh, like now today we talk about the relationship between Muslims and non-Muslims. Some Muslims, they say al-wala wal-bara, which means if you live in England now, you should boycott the government totally, you should not even pay the tax, which is, it will endanger the people, put them in a very wrong spots. If you are living now, you are from the people of Ahl al-Dhimma, you are Dhimma for them, as they say, people of trust. I am a guest in that country, so I have to respect all the laws. Some people encourage to break the laws, which is not right. We need to understand the situation of the country we are in. We need to understand the situation of the individual who is asking. Sometimes the mufti, the certain person, make a fatwa for an individual different from another because of his needs. So we need to really study the needs of the people, and also what they must know and what they must know.
So fatwa is issued based on what? Is it based on knowledge? Is it based on other Islamic issues? The fatwa givers or the issuers of fatwa, what actually is the source of their information?
As we know, this is very basic, Quran and Sunnah. That's the original of the fatwa, because we cannot come up with ideas of our own. But as we know, the fuqaha, the scholars from the days of Abu Hanifa, then Imam Shafi'i, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, and others who followed, later on, based on Quran and Sunnah, something came up. They come up with fatwa, like today, the banking system, the so-called the trusts, the so-called mortgage, which is another coin of riba or usury, how to deal with it, taxations in certain countries, many things that come up today. Like I remember when Prince Sultan bin Salman went in the space, in Columbia shuttle, the scholars told him there is a hadith of Rasulullah that when Dajjal comes, the Antichrist comes, one of his days will be 40 years or 40 days and a week. So he said, how can you make your salah? They said, you make a counting. So he was praying because the space shuttle, as you know, is going around Earth many times a day. So there is a total switch in the times of salah and the direction of salah. So he was giving certain fatwas there.
And lastly, what are the expectations of this year's conference?
Inshallah, the best, like every year, we expect the best, because the scholars, alhamdulillah, they sit and they say they scratch their heads a little bit and they come up to us with very good opinions, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Nabil.
Jazakallah khair.
the Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia, Abdulaziz Al Abdullah Al Sheikh.
إن ضرورة الناس للفتوى ضرورية عظيمة، ضرورة عظيمة، أحوج ما يكون من كثير من حاجاتهم اليومية. قال الإمام أحمد رحمه الله: الناس للعلم أحوج منهم من الطعام والشراب. وقال رحمه الله لما سأله ابنه عبد الله: أسمعك تثني على الشافعي دائما، قال: يا بني، إنه كالشمس للدنيا وكالعافية للجسد، هل يستغني الناس عن هذا؟ أيها الإخوة، إن منزلة الإفتاء منزلة رفيعة ومقام عظيم، يجب على المفتي أن يتقي الله فيها، ويعلم أنه إذا قال قولا على خلاف الحق فإنما هذه الفتوى كذب على الله وافتراء على الله، ومنزلتها في القبح أعظم من الشرك بالله. قل إنما حرم ربي الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن والإثم والبغي بغير الحق وأن تشركوا بالله ما لم ينزل به سلطانا وأن تقولوا على الله ما لا تعلمون.
دكتور عبد الله التركي، the General Secretary of the Muslim World League.
ومن المشكلات التي تواجهها الفتوى اليوم تعاطيها من غير أهلها، وتجاسر القاصرين على القول في دين الله بغير علم. ولعل من أسباب هذا التجاسر تناقص العلماء الأكفياء، وإذا ذهب الأكفياء حل محلهم الأدعياء، مصداقا لقول رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إن الله لا يقبض العلم انتزاعا ينتزعه من العباد، ولكن يقبض العلم بقبض العلماء، حتى إذا لم يبق عالما اتخذ الناس رؤوسا جهالا فسئلوا فأفتوا بغير علم فضلوا وأضلوا. أيها الإخوة، لا بد من توعية الأمة بخطر الفتوى وضرورة أن تكون مسندة موثقة صادرة من أهل العلم المشهود لهم بالكفاية والثقة والتجرد لله، وأن من الخطأ في الدين والجهل به الاعتماد على الفتاوى الصادرة من غير المؤهلين.
Dear viewers, here we end up our today's coverage of the inauguration ceremony of the Islamic Fiqh Assembly. This is Ahmed Jamali. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.